What's up guys, it's Mirka, and today I'm here with a BANLIST prediction video for you guys to check out. So, not a deck profile this time, as I usually do of course, but today I feel like why not just make a BANLIST prediction because we are close to BANLIST season, and shout out to Untitled Chapter for get inspiration to actually do a video like this, because I wouldn't normally do this, but I feel like why not just come with some predictions already so we can start a little bit up on the channel again, just to do some content of course. And yeah, I already have a deck profile for you guys in the future really soon actually, so be sure to check that out when it comes to jobs. And yeah, I figure why not just go instantly into it, I guess. And by the way, if you like this new setup, please let me know in the comments below, because that would be really fantastic if you could tell me that. If you could tell that this looks awesome and all that, because I have begun to stream a lot on twitch.tv actually. And if you want to check me out, I actually do a lot of Pokemon TCG gameplay there, or just play in general, playing competitively in tournaments, competes in tournaments, specifically online tournaments, because everything's online now. It's not like remote duels, it's more like DB stuff like that. But really interesting. I will 100% guarantee begin to stream Master Duel once it's out. That's for sure. So you can definitely be sure I will stream that. So if you haven't already, please be sure to check the link, the description below, so you can check it out on the Twitch channel. Link to it for you guys to check out. If you also want to see some Pokemon TCG content on there, I primarily use it for that. But I will in the future do some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel in the future, because I'm really hyped for that game, that's for sure, we all are, that's for sure. But in all that, let's just go into the BANLIST prediction. So this is pretty much, as you can already tell, a BANLIST prediction. So, but one small note to remember, that this is more a wish list than a prediction list, because these predictions that I come with is more like what I personally want to see, but I'm still trying to hold it as realistic as possible, for the current meta. I'm not just gonna say that, oh, ban this card because I don't like this card and all that, and get this card back to free and all that. It's not gonna be something like that. It's still trying to be as realistic as possible, but I'm not going after what Konami's mind is going after. I know some people are going after Konami's mind, but I'm not one of those persons, unfortunately, so that's not what I want to go after. Just wanna mention that. For the bans, I only have one ban card actually, and that is Imperial Order, as you can see. So I want this banned. I actually want this banned because I feel like this card, even though it's a 1, I feel like it's more like a Saki one-off now, and it feels a little bit too degenerate, honestly. Shutting down a third of the game is just ridiculous, honestly. There's been so many times where I won with this card, honestly, it's ridiculous, and it's just broken in general. I think it's the time that this is probably the most unhealthy card at the moment. There are a lot more unhealthy cards still at the moment, but this is probably the biggest one, because it's just down so much stuff, and Tribrigade's using it usually for a win con, so if you want to keep Drytron in check, I think this needs to be banned, honestly. It's too powerful. Now for limits, we have Tribrigade Revolts. Speaking of the devil, by the way, limit this instead of banning it seems okay, because then they can't play Desires, because if I banish it, then they're a little bit screwed. But having it of 1, it wouldn't be too saggy, honestly. It will still be a little bit saggy, but again, if you have Ghost Spell against it, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And it's not as powerful if it's just as 1, because then they still need to search it first with Rampant and all that. So I think at 1 will be perfectly fine. Now I also have Tanky, but it's also a maybe semi-limit, because I don't really care if it's semi-limited, honestly. But personally, I don't like the semi-limit list, but I think semi-limit this will also be fine. Personally, it's just me, I guess. But limited that's probably what I want to see. But semi-limit is also okay. I don't care what happens. The next one is a little bit weird because it's both Drytron, Nova, and Alpha. Now, hitting Drytron was a little bit odd for me because I was thinking of hitting the degeneracy of the deck, you know, the Hero of Ultimateness and Fairy types and all that. But I'm like, the only real way you can actually deal with that is banning it. So I'm like, and I don't want to ban cards just because they played in one deck. So I figured, why not just hit the deck's consistency instead of banning a ton of cards just to stop it, I guess. So I figured, but which one I want to ban, think could be limited, I have no idea, honestly. Let me know in the comments below what you actually think. Should it be Nova or Alpha? Because the thing is, because the deck function as having as many Drytrons in hand as possible, because it works like that. Because let's just say you have Alpha and Zeta, you tribute the other one from the second one effect. Your opponent Ultimate, when the one you tribute and send to the grave, they can still use this effect. So that's like the bane of having Alpha at 3, but the bane of having Nova at 3 is still a powerful card. But I don't know, honestly, I have no idea. It's a weird argument, but it's just me personally. Next up, we have Prankets, Meow Meow, Meow Meow Mew. The same deal was with Trytron. I have no idea how to hit this deck, honestly, but I figured maybe, because I couldn't really hit the deck's consistency, because yeah, you could hit the field spell, but it won't change anything, honestly, except for hitting a small minor of its consistency, but that's pretty much it. And the mouse just doesn't make sense to hit, honestly, unless you want to completely kill the deck and just semi-limit all the prank hits. Like, that could be insane. But I figure, why not just limit Meow Meow, and then the deck is not as explosive post in the next turn, because when disruption on it really early on becomes really critical to the deck. So yeah, that's why I feel like this card should be at 1, because I don't really know what to hit on the deck, but I figured this is pretty much the best hit I have, and also because I don't want to see this deck, honestly. Next we have El Shadow Winder and a Deer Serpent. Pretty much the Dogmatic deck, of course. And we cannot talk about it without also talking about Meltdown. I want both Magical Meltdown, Nadir Serpent, and El Shadow Winder all at 1. And the reason why I want Winder at 1 is because, yeah, even though it's at 1, but the Schism is the reason why the card is strong. And I'm like, you can't ban, they only play 1 of it anyway. And the only way you can actually stop it is to ban Schism. But I am predicting that it's going to get a reprint in the Megaten, so why will we ban it? Unless they will do a Zodiac all over again. But I think, why not just limit Winder? Because, yeah, it's an annoying card to deal with, but if you're dealing, you only have to deal with 1 Winder. And once you're dealt with, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Unless they play Rash at all, but that is just bad, honestly. That's just really bad. Nadir Serpent to 1 could be really interesting, honestly, because just to check the deck a lot more, because if you're hitting all these other decks that I just mentioned, this deck will just run rampant, honestly. So I really want to see it check out. Also at Invoke, because if Invoke hadn't got a single indirect hit, through its lifetime, and I don't want to see this deck anymore. Can we just please get it out of the window for once? And I think Meltdown is probably the right hit to do. Next we have Zeus to 1. I think Zeus, even though most decks does play Zeus only at 1, but having multiples of it is just too broken, and I don't see why you should ban this card right now, because it's getting reprinted in Megaten now, because we did get that announced a couple days ago, so banning it doesn't make sense. So I think limited is okay, but it's not like, but it doesn't solve the problem, of course. It's still an incredibly powerful card, but it will only be at 1. It will cripple Zodiac a lot, but I don't know. Having it at 1 would be fine in my eyes. Next, we have some cards which should come back. Hot Pour is one of them. I'm like, if Sonograde, Mirage Cell, and Skystrike and Gage can go back to 1, why not just put Hot Pour to 1? Why not? I think Orcus could be perfectly fine with just 1 Hot Pour, and this is just my personal opinion. I actually like Orchest as a deck. I just didn't like it with the Sky Striker engine because I personally like the Sky Striker, but I didn't like these two decks together because it feel like pretty unfair, honestly. That's what I felt about it. But I like Orchest as a deck. I will admit, man, I like it as a deck. But as an engine, it's too broken, honestly. It's too broken. Now, when we talk about the big four, we can't talk about... Oops, I skipped a little bit too much there. Now, we can't talk about the big four without talking about Colossus, of course. This is a bit of a maybe. They don't know if Colossus is fine coming back to 1, honestly. But I'm like, if we take Hop Horror back, then why not just take Colossus back to 1? The only problem I have with it is like, it's an insanely strong card. And we have a lot of decks for searches now, because we don't have to deal with Colossus anymore. But if we deal with 1 Colossus, I think most decks will probably lose it because it will be incredibly hard to play around. But I will say this, Tribegate has probably a decent matchup against Colossus, but it's still incredibly hard of a card. But I don't know if it's okay. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Colossus coming back or not. Next we have Heavy Metal Force Electromite come back to 1. Can we please give some love for Trip for once, actually? I mean, can we please give him some love? So please, can we please get Pendulum back some love, I guess? That would be like really crazy. And again, just like the other 4 decks, why not can we bring back Electromite? Electromite did nothing wrong. It was banned for some reason, just so we didn't deal with it anymore. That was weird. And the last limit card, I think it is, I can't remember, is Blaster Dragon Rule Infernos. I think this card could be fine coming back just to 1. It's like the Tempest scenario where we bring back Tempest back to 1. But I feel like Blaster is like one of the weakest one, even though it's a removal, I know, and there's a lot of fire decks, but the only fire deck I can think about is Salamgrade, and Salamgrade I don't even think that deck will play Blaster in general, so I am like, why should you play Blaster? I don't get it. So it's a weird one, honestly. It's a weird one. But I think Blaster's fine coming back to 1, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I missed. I don't know, honestly. And that's it for the limits, actually. Now, for semi-limits, I don't want to semi-limit any cards except for maybe the Tenki, as I mentioned before. It's a maybe because of it. But generally, I just want to see the semi-limitless get removed entirely because it doesn't serve a purpose, actually. So yeah, that's why. So for unlimited, we have from malicious to free. I don't think it will do too much, honestly. Or did I forget? I don't remember if Double Iris is actually back to 3 or 2. I don't remember, honestly, now. Mirage Style back to 3. I think Mirage Style would be fine if would be okay at 3. It won't do anything honestly. It's just my personal opinion. Skullcrab Joker to 3, just like the fact with Electromite, I think why not just give some love to Triff, I guess. And I can't remember if Double Iris was a 3 or 2. I can't remember, honestly. If it was, I didn't check it clearly, I guess. But Skullcrab Joker to 3, I don't think it will do too much. Even with Electromite back, I don't know, honestly. But Skullcrab Joker to 3, it could be fine. Now, this is what I want personally to see what's going to happen. This is just my personal take on what I will personally see happen at any game and moments. And that's all I want for any ban list at the current moment when I look at these cards. So the first thing is, I want to see Mystic Mine either banned or limited, because since this card's release, I have disliked this card's design from the beginning because it's a win button on its own, because it punishes people for not maintaining spell trap removal in the form of spell trap cards. Which is why I really hate this card, and limited could be fixed probably some of the issues with it, because then you don't have to deal with multiples of it, I guess. So, and it would, even though it would be a psychic one-off, but I'm like, if you deal with it once, you don't know how to deal with it anymore. And we can get away with Mind Burn, which people don't even like playing it. But unfortunately, we're gonna say goodbye to Jeff after that. So unfortunately, that's the case, but that's just pretty much it. Next, we have Rare Stark Dragoon banned because this card doesn't create any healthy environment in the slightest. It can only continue getting stronger, but at the current moment, I don't see this getting banned right now. Because I don't see why you should ban a card that hadn't seen too much success or even do too much degeneracy at the current moment. Or does too much, even though it does cripple rogue decks a lot, but I'm like, if that's the case, then unless it's crippling the top decks, I can't see why you should ban this card. Some people even say Rare Fusion should be banned, but I'm like, that's a really stupid argument, honestly, because that will just kill Rare's Black Dragon, I guess. Now, Trickster Life Stage are free. I don't know why this card is still at 1, honestly. Like, the reason why this card got limited in the first place was because of August Nightmare. Because of Nightmare Mermaid, because of Turtle, because of a one card Folk August combo. So I don't know why this card is still at 1. If there's anything I missed with it, then I missed it, I guess. But I don't see any purpose why this should be a 1. Make it free, make it back to free, and we can probably see Trickster again, I guess. Now, this is something that looks pretty weird in first glance, but it will make sense when I tell you guys about this. So I want to see instant fusion bans. You maybe now think you have lost your fucking minds, but I'm like, but it's just, okay, let me just show you some of the positive things that can happen if instant fusion get banned. But first of all, this will cause certain caution to come off the ban list. This is what it will cause. So first off, Northern could become back if instant fusions get banned, because the reason why Northern was banned in the first place, not because of its getting abused with instant fusion, but because of the fusion sub combo with Zodiac, of course. But Zodiac Broad Bowl is banned, and I don't think the fusion sub combo is not too much doable, honestly. Like, I don't think that's, and if you ban instant fusion, it's really hard to make. You don't want just to make an Northern just to make a monster. You want to make it rank 4 for absolutely no reason. I don't see why you would do that, so banning instant fusion will cause this card to come off this, because the only reason why this card is broken is because of instant fusion. So if you ban instant fusion, you don't have to deal with Northern shenanigans. I'm pretty sure of that. And it's not targetable for Ready Fusion. Now, it will also let come off Supreme King's Dragon Starving Venom, because, and also Tyrant Neptune, of course, because these two are the reason. These two are banned because of Literalist Independent Nightingale, because it's tunable through instant fusion. There are probably still combos you can still make this and summon these two to burn your opponent to death, or make a towers, but it's pretty much unkillable unless you have Kaiju. But banning instant fusion will probably, it can still be possible to make this, but it will just be probably the most gimmicky things I will ever see in my entire life. So I don't think this will ever do anything unless it's extremely gimmicky, but doesn't do anything else. And it will probably lose to one hand trap, I guess. I don't know. But if we can have Stamina back, it will be fine, because this card is really strong on its own. But copying Independent Nightingale, that was just a little bit too much. But yeah, banning instant fusion will cause these two to also come after this, because it will be almost impossible to make this, honestly. It's really hard to do. And what I also personally want to see now, again, like the instant fusion thing, this is also a thing I have lost my mind. I want Ultimate Offering to come back to 1, because I'm like, yeah, you have unlimited summons as long as you can pay life points, but it's a freaking trap card, dude. Wake up! It's 2021. How many people are gonna run Ultimate Offering in their control deck? Yeah, control decks, but I'm like, how many control decks will actually like have anything good with this? Which control deck can even utilize this? I have no idea. So I'm like, I don't see a reason why. Because first of all, it's a trap card, so that's like the biggest problem with it. And yeah, you can summon your opponent's turn, but who cares? We're so much removal of spell and trap now than we ever have since this card's release. I don't know why this card's still banned, honestly. Like, I think it could come up last year and wouldn't do anything. I think. Also, time seal limits, like, I'm like, yeah, it skipped your opponent's next draw phase, but again, it's a trap card, and if you're skipping your opponent's draw phase, it will only be good in the grind game. And it's a one, and it's a freaking, even though it will be a free, I don't think it will do anything. Even though it's only good in the grind game. Sometimes earlier, depend on if a hand is really bad, of course, but again, you need to see this first of all, and your opponent has a turn, still has a turn to do something, because unless they're going, because no matter what, if they go second or first, they still draw another card, so it doesn't, I don't think this will matter at all. That's just my personal opinion. And Spell Adjustment. Now maybe you're thinking, you're taking back Blaster. Are you trying to take back 2013 format again? Not necessarily with Spellbook Adjustment, because Spellbook Adjustment I think has been outdated a lot. I talked a lot with one of my friends that really love spellbooks actually, and he told me a lot that Spellbook Adjustment could probably come back and don't do anything, even though you can summon the Jargon, of course, and maybe put some back row. But what does Spellbook exactly do? Except for maybe search a bunch of cards, but after that, what are you gonna do? Except for summon Jargon. But now, because we have infinite impermanence and a lot of other cards that can actually stop the Jargon instantly and actually run over it, even though you have a Spellbook of Fate, but there's so much outs to spellbooks now. Again, the same deal with spell trap removal. We have so many now since Spellbook was a thing with Dragon Rulers. Remember that. So I don't think this will do too much. Maybe it's a little bit overpowered still, because you can still search 7 cards, I know that, but most of the cards doesn't even do anything, especially in the current meta, that's for sure. Also, they are hard once per turn, all of them, so I don't think it will do too much. It's just my personal take. And the question of the day: should Maxie be unbanned? Easy answer: no. It will just warp the format on its own, and I honestly don't think that's a good idea in the slightest. So this should stay banned until we see a true problem where it should come back. Like last year when we have Christian Helge 5-Prax shenanigans, of course. But guys, that's going to be it for today's BANLIST prediction and today's video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already, and turn on the notification bell so you can actually follow up when I upload another video. Also, be sure to like the video if you actually enjoy it, and also comment down below what you actually think of my list, and also some suggestions that I mentioned with some of the cards. I don't know what it was now actually. I think it was Colossus and what was it? Yeah, it was Switron also. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these cards actually. And also, is Pendulum best deck after this BANLIST when Electromite comes back? We'll see, I guess. And yeah, that's all I can say. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.